Somebody here knocking at my door. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Quick, see, swags. Da-da-da. We todo.
Well, it's beats.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. What's them here? Yeah, nyami shu and the money pay all the four. Or bread you my fair being kahunti me to 2 man I'm on to such a chedia. Ika crank me do. And I quote ya on bomb. And I so chum wabe. Me my way you move my bro. In Yamitia see me so. A caterpillar na would G quine no hen and wafa subia. Yes, you were better to do my young and so ya chiche me segumeti. And I can be a show. What can you know whom you? Pentiment in there. No, ya me no so be wama mio. Enti me who know. What can you know who me? Pentiment in there. No, ya me no so be wama mio. Enti me who know. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Wase me mobo. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Wase me mobo. So to go chairman set you na say when you my ya. Me ko share me one come for fi say waka try me say my share setting na wo bre. Kwana kan dan to see it. Not to boabo me hunye me he say no chan check a chen ne say na ni jini. Okwase akwante ne wona ni so. E na so hewie ye. Ibo hewie ye. Ibo hewie ye. Ni pa wie ye mo. Hewie ye. Mi so hewie ye. Ibo hewie ye. Ni pa wie ye mo. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Wase me mobo. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Wase me mobo. Yeah, I see them backbiters. Wobenya nanka sametri na so nyaminti life aye exciting. Kusho be de na no suboso. Shed about who paints me black. One pa man so man send in the back. He had do muninti. Nyamia fraya nyama ya tafu. Okay, tell me who ban sitting a kutu. Move for you one country na mu. What a fool when you fix a meaning impression. Why ya ferry? Who go? Why ya ferry? Me say why ya ferry? Oh, why ya ferry? Yeah, why ya ferry? Where the my ya ferry? Oh, who ni nyamia dio? Who ni nyamia dio? Uni nyamia dio. Wase me mobo. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio. Uni nyamia dio.
Because I don't know how you do it out there if you don't have God on your side, because there's too much stress in the world to handle it alone. But God tells us that we can bring our cares and our burdens to Him. So if you have Him, Charlie, no stress for you. But good morning, guys. How are you doing?
I'm fine and I'm doing great.
It's Friday. We're excited.
It is. We are. And we're wearing Ghana.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yep.
We've always been wearing Ghana since, I mean, the beginning of the month of March. Grandpa has been spectacular. This is wear Ghana as well.
Yes, it is.
It's fantastic
and
as well.
Of course, GTP has also
GTP
given us cloth to be able
Timeless.
to adorn
Timeless.
ourselves every day.
When you go out to buy GTP, make sure you're buying correct GTP,
That's
not
right.
the other one made from the other economy that will not bring money into.
Am I the only person who is indifferent about us going back to suit and tie? I don't know about you joining.
Asking what,
Well,
you want to go back to it?
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to go
I
back?
know it's nearing that time, but I'm just indifferent.
Well, I
about
mean,
this.
everywhere you go in this world, tie is the dress code for business.
Exactly.
So you can't say that, because even the president of the Republic of Ghana, who says wear Ghana, when he goes out for those UN things, he wears.
I know, right?
Yes. So the point is that you can't be too indifferent about it. You expect a white man to wear yours, but you don't want to wear theirs. That's racism to start with.
That's not racism. That's just promoting your own.
Well, but
of course, it's because ours seems to have faded along the line. That's why we're just trying to revamp it. But of course, putting it together with wearing the European style or Western kind of clothes doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be doing, you know, just the Western. But again, even the ties. If we had people who were into already made ties, so much so with African print that it was easily purchasable, easily gettable, if there's a word like that. And let's say even they made suits, then people will go in for that more than the Western. But the Western is easier to get than
I know
that's
Grandpa
why.
does it, and I've always raised this argument and said, look, what we're wearing now, these are like what, pullovers or what are they? Or kaftan? What are
These are shirts, they're tops.
no, but it comes from a certain
more like
tradition.
sweaters.
You mean, okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Kaftan, you know, are they African?
It's
I
a
think we
style.
So the fact that we used African prints for it doesn't necessarily make it African.
Yeah, exactly.
Africans wear agbada, they wear batakari, they wear joromi. You get the point.
Exactly.
This is a beautiful dress,
Right.
but a dress is not, it doesn't come from Africa. If you're looking for ours, you're looking for a kaba and a slit.
Exactly.
So already there's an incorporation of
the
that
Western-
foreign thing,
Exactly.
and we need to get it right.
Yeah.
I don't believe when people are so, you know, it has to be just African, and if you're not wearing it, then it's not. I don't get it. If I get an African print and I decide to sew a gown with it, does the gown
an
suddenly
infusion.
become African?
No.
No.
It's an infusion.
The gown is, you know, an European thinking,
Yeah.
but the fabric is African. For somebody to be able to do it creatively
Yeah.
gives you that.
Infusion, yeah.
So we must find a fine line.
Exactly.
It's just like saying, don't play anybody else's music on our radio, don't play their videos, but you want your music to cross borders and play on whose radio?
Exactly. So that definitely will be a fusion. But
Exactly.
the point is, at the end of the day, Ghana is promoted largely.
Yes,
African
if you have a
Western style.
70-30 or 80-20,
Yeah.
we'll be
That's fair
happy.
enough.
We'll take it.
But
Yeah.
you can't say you don't want it, you are 100%. If you cross into their market, they will also tell you they want 100%. Take your goods back.
Right, certainly. But of course, Bright, the witch catcher, has gone out to hunt for all the
Catching more
witches in
witches.
Jekiti before the Easter hits, because that's where we're all making Easter.
He wants to be
yeah.
sure that we are all safe.
Yes, because he
Right.
doesn't want people to come without their head, you know, and people without arms
people
and
can
all
come
that.
without
He's
their
paving the
head.
way
Oh,
for us
yes,
to
even
come.
Bright himself says, I mean, one day when he went on the hunt, they took his head to play football and they brought it back and he had neck pain. So
Okay.
anyway, Bright, good morning out there, wherever you are. We pray you're
people-
safe.
Can people's intestines to be taken and then
Then do-
people's intestines, like those wishes, can they take it, go and
go and
play
do
with it
And bring it back.
Maybe they used to ask if you
and then when they are tired,
come
they
and
will
put it back in. Well, those of us who believe in God, certainly witches don't have any role
Of
to
course.
play in our
Of course.
lives. But guys, we'll be giving you more of the headlines. We'll also be talking about interesting things such as Mansard going solar. So stay tuned here. Don't change that station because we bring you the best breakfast in Ghana. But George has all the news.
I do have them. News is up next here on your favorite morning show, New Day. I'm George Quinn. Just so you know, you can watch us live on DSTV channel 279. On to our very first story. A group calling itself the Concerned Citizens of Etiwa Landscape has petitioned President Akufo-Addo against government-intended bauxite mining at the Etiwa Forest Reserve. They contend the reserve, which is the source of the Densu, Ayensu and Brim rivers, if mined, will deprive some 5 million people of potable water.
The concerned citizens of Etiwa Landscape comprise representatives of several NGOs, youth and interfaith groups. The group has undertaken a 95-kilometer protest walk from Saturday, March 17, from Chebi in the eastern region to the Flagstaff House to vehemently oppose the intended bauxite mining, citing its negative impact on the forest and millions of Ghanaians.
For a long time, government has been very silent anytime we brought up this issue of Atiwa and the bauxite industry. We're expecting government to be very responsive to our requests and for as soon as possible try and come out and tell us what is actually in this deal. And also as soon as possible work to take Atiwa off the list.
The Wija water treatment plant, which serves a greater number of households in the capital, has its source uphill in the Etiwa forest. Thus, the concerned citizens of Etiwa Landscape say bauxite mining would destroy the forest and its natural systems that ensure continuous water flow.
Aside providing water for 5 million people, the forest reserve is also habitat for species of plants and animals, a lot of which you don't find anywhere else in the world. So putting all of these together, we think that any plans to leverage our bauxite for some financial returns needs to take into consideration all these things.
The group earlier petitioned the Ochihene, Osagyefo Amoeti of Oripenin, and the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission.
And now to a development that is making all the headlines in the country. The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Robert Porter Jackson, has expressed disappointment over the huge public outcry which has greeted the Ghana-USA Defense Cooperation Agreement. Reacting to the fears expressed by the public about the agreement, he said the U.S. has no intentions of having a permanent base here, even though they do in other African countries.
I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding, first of all. We are not establishing a base here. The agreement that is now before Parliament is an update. When the first agreement was signed in 1998, we were not providing the same level of military assistance and training. We were not providing the counterterrorism training that we're providing to the police and the armed forces. Ghana was involved in peacekeeping, but not to the same level. The agreement protects Ghana by making it clear what Ghana's rights and responsibilities are, and by making it clear what the United States' rights and responsibilities are. This is not a backdoor to do something different. It's to ensure that we all agree on what it is that we're doing through our security cooperation. We are guests in this country. We are here when we exercise and do training only at the invitation of Ghana. And we have no intention of having any kind of permanent presence here. We have permanent presence in other countries in the region. What we're looking to do in Ghana is to make certain that Ghanaian forces are as prepared or better prepared than neighboring countries to deal with any threats, whether from crime or terrorism.
The citizens feel that there's too much in the agreement for the U.S. than for Ghana, especially the unlimited access to certain places, tax exemptions, and so on and so forth. And they feel that maybe the U.S. is taking advantage of the country.
In fact, the tax exemptions are the same language that's in the 1998 agreement, so that's not new. And the access is misunderstood. The way the agreement is written is very legalistic. But in fact, we will not have access to any Ghanaian facility that Ghana does not want us to have access to. And I want to emphasize, Ghana is also training U.S. troops. So this is not a one-way street. We are in this as a partnership.
How do you feel about the public outcry about the whole agreement?
I'm frankly a bit disappointed by the public outcry, but I think that as Ghanaians understand that we're building on the partnership that we've had for years and not trying to do anything new and different, and definitely not establishing a base, they'll recognize that this is in Ghana's interest.
Still on this development, the National Democratic Congress (NDC) says the proposed security cooperation agreement between Ghana and the U.S. is a disservice to Ghana's military establishment, which has a rich tradition of professionalism and competence. At a news conference in Accra, the General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, insisted the ratification of the agreement could send wrong signals and make Ghana a target of terrorism. Here's a report by Godfrey Tanam.
The recurring theme of the U.S. fight against terrorism is that Islam or Islamic extremism is to blame. The establishment of a U.S. military base in Ghana to combat terrorism could therefore send wrong signals and make this country a target of extremists. We have witnessed this happen within the West African sub-region.
The General Secretary noted the Defense Minister's actions to push for the ratification of the agreement could be cited for treason for attempting to subvert the sovereignty of Ghana, but was quick to add that the minister could not be blamed because he was acting on the instructions of the president.
President Nana Akufo-Addo, who appears to have been swayed by an award conferred on him on his recent visit by a U.S. lobby firm called the Whitaker Group. We strongly believe the award was orchestrated from some quarters to soften the sitting president of Ghana into ratifying an agreement whose provisions are tantamount to a total sellout of this country.
He said the move to get the agreement ratified at a time the U.S. government is engaged in mass deportations of Ghanaians and other Africans demonstrates a high level of insensitivity and disregard for human rights.
If the MPP government had any regard for the sensibilities of Ghanaians who are at the receiving end of such harsh treatment, it would have thought twice about presenting such an agreement to Parliament. In fact, we should not forget that President Trump has himself described Ghana and predominantly black nations as shitholes. And no formal apology or retraction has been made by his administration or his representatives in Ghana.
The Minority Chief Whip Mohamed Mubarak Muntaka refuted claims the minority leaked the document to the media.
If those documents were not meant for the public, they know the procedure to use. But it was laid and distributed
to everybody
in a pigeonhole. So how can you be saying leaked? Meanwhile, this thing was in the media on Monday. The document came to Parliament on Tuesday.
The NDC indicated it will suspend the agreement and initiate a review of its provision if it regains power.
You can interact with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. Our WhatsApp number is 050-823-5228. And on to other news, the minority in Parliament has accused the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, of deviating from its core mandate and must be checked. According to minority spokesperson on finance, Ato Forson, the move by GNPC to spend $20 million to build a new head office in Accra and $13.4 million to renovate that same office is worrying.
Parliament approved the 2018 program of activities for GNPC, but not without concerns, particularly by the minority. MP for Ejumako Enyane CM, Ato Forson, noted the continuous borrowing by GNPC adds up to the public debt.
You see, the budget approved an amount of 998 million Ghana cedis for Ghana National Petroleum Company. They have said that instead of the budget approving 998 million, they are going to spend 4.5 billion. And you know what they are spending the money on? And out of this, they are going to the capital market to borrow. What even surprises me is that this very administration criticized Cocoa Board for doing cocoa roads. Strangely, GNPC is going to spend 300 million Ghana cedis to build agricultural roads.
Ato Forson said for GNPC to spend $10 million to build an operational office in Takoradi was outrageous.
I was born in Sekondi, Takoradi. I don't know of a building that will cost $10 million. Operational office, $10 million in Sekondi, Takoradi. For some strange reason, GNPC is saying they are going to spend $20 million for the purposes of building their head office in Accra. In spite of that, they have an existing head office. They are saying they are spending 13.4 million Ghana cedis to renovate that office. What are they renovating? They are also saying that they are going to spend an amount, almost $2 million, to build a transit quarters for their staff. So anytime they go to Takoradi, they go and sleep there. They are going ahead to invest 24 million to now go into gold mining. Gold mine. GNPC doing gold mine. This is a mining company.
But the Minister of Energy, Boakye Ejako, said the ministry scaled down an earlier projected amount of $76 million to $20 million. He also defended the move by GNPC to spend $10 million in building an office in Takoradi. He said it was better to build a befitting edifice, noting the construction of the operational office would start after it has gone through tender and the contract awarded.
Mr. Speaker, no particular group of people have a monopoly over expertise. It is within the province of the executive to employ and deploy from the pool of talent.
A total of 1,602.82 million cedis was approved for the GNPC for its 2018 activities.
Away from the floor of Parliament, let's move to the judiciary, where the Ghana Bar Association has revealed plans to make deductions from their dues to support the legal aid system. According to Vice President of the association, lawyer Anthony Forson, the legal aid system in the country needs some form of sacrifice from all to help the poor.
A report released by the American Civil Liberties Union indicates more than 3,200 people are serving prison sentences without bail for non-violent crimes. A close examination of these cases by the union reveals just how petty some of these offenses are. Another research conducted by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative has also revealed that most persons charged with petty offenses are the poor and vulnerable in society. The report seeks to bring to the fore the irrelevance of certain laws in the statutory books of Ghana. Speaking exclusively to TV3 News on the sidelines of a roundtable workshop on advocacy towards decriminalizing of petty offenses in the country, the Vice President of the Ghana Bar Association, lawyer Anthony Forson, says there is the need for the justice system to be reformed to ensure the rule of law works in favor of all.
We released some of the monies about 3 years ago to the legal aid scheme, but there was some difficulty with classifying it, whether it was money which had to go to the consolidated fund or it had to go through a certain account, etc., etc. But that has been resolved. So I believe that going forward, the legal aid will be having assistance from the Ghana Bar dues.
The Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, Joseph Withel, also thinks it's about time the prisons are decongested of petty offenders as prostitutes and vagabonds.
If you have offenses that are technically speaking not supposed to be on the statute book, the likelihood is that a happy police officer could one day get up and put the people before court, and such people could end up in prison, should it be the case.
Danger looms as the Ramsar Basin, designed to receive huge volumes of water after rainfall in Accra, is being filled up with sand by private developers. Consequently, the Engineering Council of Ghana has warned of massive flooding in Accra if the basin gets blocked.
The Ramsar site is situated about 1 kilometer away from the Malan Market in Accra. It is a conservation area designed to hold volumes of water from the Lafa Basin also within the same location. Private developers have encroached on the area and are undertaking vigorous activities in the reserve, thereby filling up the basin.
This is a community that is in a low-lying area. And since we have been here, more than 20 tipper trucks have been in here to tip their sand. They are using it to fill the low-lying area or the swampy area. But residents say this is a disaster in waiting.
I don't know what the government will do about it, but if they should try to do something, they should do it fast, because when June comes, because people are still doing this, they are taking tipper, going to this area, filling, but the filling too is the same people who are staying it down.
We
don't have the courage to stop them. Their activity is a threat to our survival. When they fill up the basin, our homes will be flooded after heavy rains.
Surprisingly, these tipper trucks cut sand from the Marine Drive project site behind the Arts Center and transport it all the way to the Malam area, where it is used to fill the drain. With the rains expected in June, the Engineering Council is warning government to stop the developers.
The area you call the Ramsar site is the basin that receives water from the Lafa stream and the Bale stream. The Lafa stream takes its sources from the Santa Maria, Soutum, and Anya, all those areas, and bring all the flow down to the basin. What is happening now, it needs the attention of government, so that government can, or the assembly in particular, when I talk of government, it's the assembly, because the assemblies are in the area. They have the mandate of approving structures that will have to be built in certain areas. They zone areas for built up. So they will have to quickly come in. Is this area now being zoned for residential development? If not, what we do, we quickly have to stop the spread of the development.
Coincidentally, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, AMA, in 2010 demolished 3 buildings because they were too close to the site, but 8 years later, countless structures have sprung up within the same area.
Our core duty as a media house is put the grievances out there for duty bearers to act upon them. And so we believe, interventions will knock at the doorstep of residents of Malam. But that's it by way of news on NewDay. My name is George Quinn. A very good morning.
There's a new kid on the block called Family Circle. It joined me this morning, Eunice Abok and Benjamin Asian. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Grateful for your time. How you doing? I'm good. How's the Friday going? I like the Ghana wear thing that's going on. Ladies first, I'll start with you. Eunice, what's Family Circle?
Well, it's an organization and we organize events basically to create financial literacy and to help educate entrepreneurs and what they should do, the kind of investment they should take, and how it's going to help build their startups and basically ongoing companies so that they don't fail. Because we realize most companies actually fail because they don't know how to manage their financial aspects. So this conference is seeking to address that.
But Benjamin, a lot of young people are told to become entrepreneurs. In fact, at the various universities, you have a module like that it's incorporated into every program of study. From where you sit and from how you formed this organization, what did you see to be that single key thing, apart from financial management, to be a bigger problem?
Unemployment. Yeah, that was the main motivating factor. We realized that the government was always talking about the fact that the private sector is the key to driving the economy, and that is one aspect we realized. And we realized that the private sector was not getting much help from people. So individuals, they kept encouraging people to become entrepreneurs. Now, if you become an entrepreneur, you realize that many people were not even accessing funds, amongst others. So if they can't access funds, then what should be done? Then they should start, in a way, little by little, saving little amount of money, start up their own entrepreneurship or companies, and then as time goes on, they manage their funds very well. And then little by little, they can stand on their own. But if there's no motivation factor, if there's no education or there's no information as to how to manage their funds and control their businesses, obviously lots of people will start up and still fail.
So now we know the problem is unemployment and entrepreneurship and funding.
Exactly.
Okay, you have a management of both. So what are you doing? What solution are you proposing?
Well, we are bringing on board experts, people that are well knowledge in the field of entrepreneurship. So they get to educate them on the kind of investments they should go in for and how it's going to help them in building their organization. So what we are doing is we are bringing on board experts to come and educate them.
Who are the experts you're bringing? Tell me about them.
Okay, we are bringing Paul Mante, the EDC Development Manager, and then we are bringing Dr. Obi Berkon from University of Ghana. So we are trying to bring someone from academia and someone from industry. And Dr. Obi Berkon is not just academia, he's a consultant. He has expertise in economics, accounting, finance, and strategic management. And what we are trying to help people do is that we want them to learn. We are not going to tell you which business to actually do. You have your own business, you have your own ideas. We are going to teach you how to save little amounts of money and be able to have your own investments as in terms of your own startup, your own business. And we're also going to teach you how to manage the startup, how to manage the cash flow from the business so that when you start your business, you don't fail. We also bring in the PVP running mate, Mrs. Bridget Jogbenugu, who is going to talk about startups. So it's about investment solely, it's about startups, and it's about linking investment and then your business.
I see, very impressive. Where are we having this function?
At British Council.
British Council Hall. When?
Yes, on Saturday.
Saturday, that's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
Wow, what time?
From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Yes. Who can attend?
Anyone.
Anyone?
It's open to the entire public.
No age limit?
No, as long as the person has the idea or is an entrepreneur
Okay.
or has the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, you are open to attend and learn. Even if you don't have the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, you want to learn more about investments, how to save your money, you can also attend.
Is it free?
It's free.
It's absolutely free. What's the underlying theme? You know, usually when you have these things, you have a theme. What's it?
This year's theme is planning today for tomorrow, and then and it's sub-question, sustaining tomorrow's wealth.
Planning today for tomorrow,
yeah,
and sustaining
tomorrow's wealth.
Hey, Charlie, rough words. I thank you very much. Your closing thoughts, 30 seconds for both of you, and then we'll wrap up quickly on this.
What I want to say is that it doesn't matter if you already have an idea or not about entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter if you know about investment or not. I want you to come and be challenged and then learn how to save little by little. Start up something. Don't wait for the government to create jobs for you.
Right.
And let's make impact today.
Eunice?
Okay, most of the times people want to start big. They don't believe in little drops of water. So just this conference alone can tell you a lot on how little drops can actually help you. It can become a lot.
Absolutely. I thank you very much. Benjamin Asian is with the Family Circle, as well as Eunice Abuk. Thank you very much. And we'll be there tomorrow to support you. It's happening at British Council Hall, 10 to 3 p.m. is a Family Circle conference. You know where to go to get knowledge and understanding so you can manage your business. We'll be back after this break here on NewDay.
Welcome back. Let's touch on newspaper headlines quickly. We'll start off with Ghanaian Times. It says 20 drug peddlers arrested in Accra. Also, RTI bill to be laid before the House today. Then Martin Amidu is saying dismiss Ayine's case against me. And then finally, NDC vows to suspend military agreement if and only if. But what I'm interested in, Johnny, let me show this picture again. The headlines of the 20 drug peddlers who have been arrested in Ghana. If you can see clearly, these men have been coupled and their clothes tied to each other. And so the assumption is to help arrest. I don't know if the cameras could actually zoom in so we could really see, viewers could see what we're discussing. But Johnny, it's appalling. You know, we've heard time and again saying that we are retooling or re-equipping the police force to be able to do its work. But when you tie them together like this, what's the aim? So they don't run away, because their hands are free and they can easily untie, unless of course they are also mentally challenged. But I stand to reason that they are not, and so there's no point in doing this at all. If the police doesn't have handcuffs or whatever to keep them right, maybe you shouldn't even bother doing this. You get what I mean? To start off with, it's appalling.
It's a typical case of media.
Oh, this is terrible, Johnny. I mean, we're going into the weekend, so I want to make the issues light for you, but this is not 21st century Ghana. This is not how people do things. We spoke about the max shots, and we thought we heard, you know, their PRO saying that they were going to be teach them, or go under training, so they know how to do these things better. But when we come to this, I mean, are we joking?
I don't know what went into the thinking, but clearly this, I don't know. I don't know where this comes from. 21st century policing.
No, terrible. But anyway, hopefully the RTI bill will be laid before Parliament goes on recess today, and then subsequently when they come back, they would have a look at it. At least, even though it's slow, if it does go through today, I'll be happy. At least that we know when they come back from recess, they will push it into...
It's been there so many times already.
It has, so Johnny, but let's just hope and pray. That will be the last time.
Beyond hope, you see, the politicians, the parliamentarians, those of our ministers, they must let us feel that they really care about us.
They should.
And Justice Emil Short has said that, look, they don't want to pass these things because they know how effective the citizenry can use it, against them. So they're very reluctant to pass it. I mean, and as I said, I've seen this late so many times, and then there's a delay, 1, 2, 3 readings, or 1, 2 readings, and then before you know, Parliament rises, and then that's it. So I don't have any hope. I'm not being pessimistic, but I don't believe that anything can come. I can only believe that something will happen when eventually the bill becomes an act and we have it and we can apply it with the requisite LI, or the legislative instrument that will give us power for us as citizens to enforce our rights or demand our rights under that particular legislation. Then I can know that we have come far. Until that time, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Anyway, let's also touch on the finder. It says 740 million Ghana cedi financial scandal as monies of 705,396 depositors are locked up. Also, Minority Blocks Committee's report on U.S. military deal. Then GCB will be expanding Saturday banking branches again. Also, RTI bill goes to Parliament today. And then finally, unleashing the power of women and girls. That's coming from U.S. Ambassador Robert Porter Jackson. Yep.
So many
but the
issues
money,
there.
the financial scandals, particularly after we've been rocked by so many others, DKM and other issues, and the fact that even Unibank, which was, let me not use the word credible, but which had, financial gains up until the time when we, the public, were made to know that they were running down. So when I hear things about these financial scandals and BOG unleashing all these number of people whose monies have been locked up in these institutions, it's worrying because already, Johnny, the pockets are not good on people. And so if your money is locked up in a particular institution that's going down or folding up, I don't know where we're going.
Look, I think that we must take a holistic view to some of these things. The DKM Goddess Love saga, you remember the 77 microfinance companies that the Bank of Ghana said were not in good standing and so had to be shut down. I have also seen a springing up of, Susu savings and loans things all around. And for me, the mental picture I have, and for all those people, will be a ripple effect if you have a business, and even if it's genuine, because of the mistakes of others, they may smear that on you and paint you with the very same brush. It behoves on the Bank of Ghana, and Dr. Addison and his team must take this more seriously. In terms of supervising, in terms of monitoring, evaluation, in terms of reassuring the public, and the public knowing that this is the actual thing which the Bank of Ghana is doing to save them and to protect them. We will not feel protected. Look at this money, 740 million Ghana cedis, and it's going to come from us, our taxes. We are going to use it to fund these things. And not a single individual at the Bank of Ghana, not the man in charge of microfinance, nor his deputy, nor anybody who was supposed to have audited a certain account at a certain time and didn't audit it, somebody who was supposed to analyze a certain report and didn't analyze it. Not a single person will go punished for these things. And we saw it, 77 microfinance companies who, from the Bank of Ghana, was punished. Up to a point where we knew that they didn't have the licenses and yet they were operating, and the Bank of Ghana could not say that they were not aware because they were floating in the capital market. They were receiving money and paying at a certain point with a certain account name, with a certain, supposed license. Nobody is watching. So until we start cracking the whip and punishing people for causing such mayhem, $740 million, you know what that can do for us? The roads, the street lights that are not working, the intended, CCTV cameras, buying handcuffs for police so the police will not have to tie shirts, to each other. These are very critical issues. Children are still, kneeling on the floor to learn in schools. And we want to waste money, on somebody's negligence? And
also waste it on GNPC. But anyway, until then, we'll keep ranting. But let's also go out there on the streets as we run, because there has been an increase in the number of crimes, also equally an increase in the number of churches or religious bodies. Is there a correlation to this?
I think there's a correlation. See, most of, and this I will hit hard at them. In Ghana, when you start having a conversation and people put religion to it or spirituality, then they dissolve it. They'll tell you these are spiritual matters or religious matters, and then they just dissolve the issues and they don't talk about it. But I think that we must wake up as a nation. There are so many people who are claiming to be pastors who are not even gazetted. And it is a crime for you to be not to be gazetted and be a pastor and carry out certain functions. For example, if I'm not gazetted and the state doesn't recognize me as a pastor, and I come delivering you from whichever spirit or exercising whichever spirit, and I push you and you break your head, that's causing harm. the police must charge those people for causing harm because they are not permitted or licensed to perform those things. If you are not gazetted as a pastor, you should not be blessing people's marriages. But we see these things happening. If you are not a pastor and for example, the churches are springing up everywhere, people are making noise, even in communities. Residential areas have now you have churches springing up everywhere and they make excessive noise.
And so even when you're being robbed, you probably wouldn't hear.
You wouldn't hear. And then when you go complaining, they will tell you you have or you have a bad spirit and you want to fight the spirit of God. We must find a discipline. Even those who brought us the Jesus Christ, do they do that in the UK, in the US? Do they do that?
The other part of it is whether the churches or these religious bodies actually preach right. Because if you really instill the words of God, God, and you're helping them be disciplined to go strictly by the word of God, then you wouldn't see the increased rate of crimes. But we tend to preach more prosperity. 60%, and so the selfishness and greed also comes from the very churches.
60% of that are just preaching prosperity and yedie and breakthrough. And selling all manner of things in the church. So if I'm a young person, I go to a pastor, all his preaching is prosperity and you must get money and I don't have a job. I will find a job. Technically. I will find the money wherever I can get it. If I'm an accountant somewhere and I'm not earning so much, my pastor says, I see that you have gotten this and the vision is clear, blah, blah, blah. And the next morning, I'll be adding zeros to it just to make the thing happen so that the pastor will not be ashamed. What kind of a Mongo Park country is this?
Anyway, guys, let's step out on the streets and rant with George Queenan.
Each and every day we wake up to the establishment of new churches, and crime rate is also on the ascendancy. What is the correlation here? The same people that go to church are the same people that commit these crimes, and so our churches missing the mark. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
Because bonnet doors and points a banner. Second, so to 1 year, points as some Yamaka and a Bentina yet 1 year, less than Yamaka. Because a Yamian must walk can't as I'm managing Yamia drop. Yes, a bum, said in Yamia cancer paper. I didn't think I can, and I'm woman, and it's another verse. Bible verse now.
Now we are Gidinia, we are Christian. And I cut Christian and Casancho, you cut Christian, and yet I shall go in it. Christian, go on the Ashalanadia. One was one Bible from one day where we. Has that also the only one with your mate, the only one so what Ben who have been said what happened. Bye. Yanya a class shall an ocean as a day. You may any down. And ya shall be an a shall. Yes, you shall be beer. He performed Manamiati as I said, Gidi, and the two among. No, Gidi, our master, myself one room, and not just men who knew. By Brack and Canas won't be in Testament me a day. Met me, a flat. Namen flower, won't mean a day, and flower.
What can I say? Tana Bayan who I'm before. And the Satan now, no Bayan who I'm before. And the Nipa Blena could go on the Manaza of you. The Blena, who say Yamiason, I am more person, but and then you need to coupon. And so be play what Bedmacaz said, more about 85% today. So we are that if you want more matter to 1 man in there. The no beer dresser, on the bed year over talk out, Bay will be with the members Dawson, Sanya man or Cosso. Because I saw we saw better and Femuquine. And Femuquine just said, I didn't know better car. Say, be a craft. What's it? And now to me, vampire mobi. What to me, vampire? I am fast, so you say, the BT so I'm mobile. You come be where I say, where I say, yet I sorry. I saw no one here. And so I sometimes I say, I saw a boy and I say, I bet I'm bullied. Said, I'm wire.
and surely not one man church but waste my surely dini, waste my surely dini. The entire from makers a from a BM Wyan. I'm why I say, only pana water shall and I drink our details and I drink. Bible so trouble any dry, now maybe no trouble any dry. Now maybe mamma to it, yes, and no marshal, Nammy Marshall, dear. We go partially being a son of one man I had. A man, I won't murder you, say, I want to know what was I had. I wouldn't tell you. And to men, the met my can say, Sabab, why am I? Yamma at the Yaksimun, Yantinum, and Auntie and Auntie, and I should have.
Politicians, no, sir, or more solid Ghana. The politicians on call Romania or Moasaco Mox, and the Domian come from Mia Christopher. Almost the Bible is very in. Me who some of the snap, that's very in that. Some of your Mohudi, no so moon your manisika or Monia Bonedia, and Casway, come from Cosia. Amufa Bible Nicola and Antonio, no mum from Cosia, no mum fashion up, Antonia Ma, and so Ghana and Yamufa Mumu says, and me, Kwaku and Aquasi, tell me dig Ghana Sika. And I'm a Yagana Bonnet, and I'm a Yip Sayer, and Sonny slow, and the other engine is slow. So many times when they bet my comba, Babu, the Endimincono, and Jinipan, Tudona, Mukogu, a son damn Yadeno, Omoka come is a Babu Kaza, Oka come any penny, some Bomu Pomo day. Yamea some there wouldn't so more quasally, but a young one who didn't mope. Any Poclaya Mukogu Mox, a bompire 5 times a day, or 180 bonny, or 180 of my sick. Omo Kogu Roma Methodist Presbyterian, Omo na Edibone, esi ni papa mu a. Esi susuka.
Susuka be na Presbyterian Roma ni Methodist e no kwa na ya so to mi go din. Oh. E no ko pese wa ko boss an chale na ba se no ni aso ye nyini. E wo wi ase na one thing say. E no na make be say. Ade wo hu na sorry oko.
Ye ni former president aso be no kwa nkobi kokuni.
Obi kokuni se wa ye dey.
Assembly of God. And yes, I'm this. No, I know Roman. I just now guys in Susunga.
Susuka.
The thing is, they say, Yenina, you're quite sorry.
Yenina, you're quite sorry. No. Me the me yes, I'm sorry. I said, "Nan say, Obi a your bonny, and to me bonny no no ye ni to ye de Obi wa see o me. I saw the crowd me pass I just said your pass or the crowd bonny cry den. E say me, and I was so bad some can say sorry no, e be boy and answer me boy yen. Na me so ma de kakra me so be my dream so me kire ne say. I sorry ne be boy yen. But me hwe say Obi a your bonny, and to so be hwe ne bonny no so aye den. Anka say won ye den no kwa so. Sumunya me. So ka be fa so.
Mami, who ka say the boy me one man church na banana there I'm a boy. So be who Bible Genesis read who quotation miensa. No
nyame frobia wu hu no bi tie aka so nyame frobia wu hu.
Nyame frobia so be some pure water man 5 million. Pure water 5 million. Who ka jam to be free.
Na pure water 5 million na so no say ton pure water 5 million na won to e be dey.
Say nyame free. So kwa man akwankyere. Ko to pure water say. Ko to wa yiri say. Where na ka je wa makwaje we fi Nyankopon obi a yeso benya
ko se so wo nya so wo ani itu aka just pure water 5 na se wuntimi nto ase
ye nyina ya tie se nyame afla mi a hu se nyame afla mi me mum na me to on so de me de me hu de se nyame afla mi nyame timi fro bi hye ne se wonte aso
okay
bra once ma wo kan
en go di boni na metna na nga se boni no pa na e de ko so
afia de me bu aka ya so le no do so no because baby me ti wo Santa Maria utwu nsem akomienu bia hu aso kama se obi afie kro otimi na ti aso le ana asema wu bi sei e ya asema hu hia papa ye wo dwen ho ebru wa dwen no ntia se adentina enso ne bebre buo na se na bone do ha na e do
esa so ne do so na bone
enka bone ne kwofom na we mu de anu na be hu se what Satan na ye ne ho han bofo because dia na kire se me ho kire me na se me what je nwane mra nyame kupon fie ni nyame beje na me konya me fie bi me ni bi na sofo ka jam se o mama kwankire wo dim 5 million wa charge me
apia nya enya
okay say no so nya force
enya force na wunim say tombrodo 1 cedi na wo pe nkwaje na wakọ na se wo ankasa wa ho de nkira wo say 10 million na se wo bi dia wo timi di tia tibra na se bota bread ho de e brodo yes brodo ni afa
brodo ni siri ha e ko ka na se labadi bo ni to me nto ne 10 million
mo nto ne 10 million
me ba ko ba bi o se wo tira ko nwam sei
yo bo me no
What can we have one watch now?
Oh, I did. I
so for be a deal. What truck when you know 5 million would it tomb? No, I can't how.
Mammy be up
1 million for that.
Mammy Akrada.
Who Bobby did?
Me Bobby did. Tell me the example. Me the example now.
Oh, sorry, you see, now I say body needs, but I say body cry.
And then I make sure I shall now what's a name about Boye and Sassy and Yasha. If you hear Papa Money and my name, Sabina Sanima when you was Sabina no Shalena North. Now Shalena North, make many fear and minimum Shalena and North. Say, I may many better to Shalena 100 and something.
Tarzan and Pimpin.
And to one and as I fast and I shall a boy, but say, Molaka Kitua Biaba Flamma. Molina can in United Day. I say, I'm young. It's me that Metiaka say, you know, my shalom. I have
Madame for boy, sorry. What mediator on pass when you say?
Me I say my prime is a say come madam. He say me who is actually your car and pie boy your bomb pie.
Bonina echo cost we when I am. Sorry, ain't me woman in coffee. And yes, there be one man judge the money Dawson, the money shall in a bit near Guama, how near my nature. Sagana can be because no, I didn't hear Copa. Yes, now shall in because your computer on Robert. A babu. It must be a computer because a shop on actually a man. Most of me be actually 12 sorry. Maybe says a soft so our tongue pure water. 20 pesos. And the idea will be 5 million. Why the million? It's an interesting discussion here. What you make of the proliferation of churches against the ascendancy of crime rates in the country? Our churches aim to help. Let's hear your thoughts on this. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. You came to from 37 Lorry Station here at Accra. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back and thank you very much. The Ghanaian Times this morning reports that 20 drug peddlers have been arrested in Accra. RTI bill to be laid before the House today. Dismiss INS case against me, says Martin Amido, and NDC vows to suspend military agreement. The Statesman, the Daily Statesman, says Parliament approves 1.8 billion Ghana cedis for DACF and Opuni faces more charges over Cocoa Road's chop. Government suspends import VAT on 64 commodity groups. The Gold Street business says new Terminal 3 to handle 1,250 passengers per hour. And cyber attacks targeting online banking rises, says the Bank of Ghana. The Daily Guide says cut down killer rent, green streaks, begs Nana. Mahama still cries over defeat. And Ayariga sues government over projects including One District, One Factory, Planting for Food and Jobs, Free SHS, and all those. Amidu fires NDC over corruption fight. The Weekend today says best fashion moments of Ebony Reigns as she goes home tomorrow to rest. The Finder says 740 million Ghana cedis financial scandal as monies of those depositors are locked up in the banks. Minority Blocks Committee's report on U.S. military deal, and the RTI bill goes to Parliament today. It comes with a smiley photo of the President of the Republic. Will it be passed? Will it be late? We don't know. We'll have a conversation about it shortly. But the Daily Heritage says GMPC again, that's a screaming headline on the front page, earmarks $30 million to build 2 offices after spending $650 million on non-core areas. CJ begs judges over strike, meets government on March 28. And the Independent, finally, maybe, Ghanaians still fronting for foreigners in petroleum industry, according to Energy Minister Boachi Ejakwan. Billions of women lack legal protection against violence. The Daily Graphic, Ghana's oldest newspaper, says 272 financial institutions in distress. That's worrying. Withdrawal Defense Cooperation Agreement, says the NDC, And the Japan proposes bins for households to improve sanitation. But I want to do a very special thing here on the New Day show, Paper Review this morning. We want to talk about the Right to Information Bill, because the countdown that the coalition mounted on government to show its commitment to the Right to Information Bill ends today. And I've been joined by Gideon Kote Nikwe, is a project officer of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, and also Beauty Emefanate, who needs no introduction, Executive Secretary, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. How are you doing? How's the Friday going?
It's going well.
I'll start with you, Gideon. The countdown ends today. What's special about today? What are we going to be doing?
What are we going to be doing? Like it's rightly said, the countdown ends today. We launched the campaign, which is the countdown, for the President or Cabinet to lay the Right to Information Bill in Parliament, which was promised by the President on the 6th of March during the Independence Day address. Right. And we are hoping that that will be done. So we launched this campaign that if it's not done, we've got actions to take to put pressure on government to ensure that the Right to Information Bill, which has been in and out of Parliament for over 17 years, will be passed into law so that Ghanaians can have access to information which can affect everybody's life in terms of development, in terms of progress.
Beauty, the promise and then the back and forth that you have seen with this, is this going somewhere this time round?
Well, thank you very much. I would like to say good morning to your viewers. The Right to Information Bill, as we have all admitted, is very important to the citizens of Ghana. And I believe that our politicians and governments know how helpful that bill can be to them. But it's just unfortunate that we have not been able to pass it over this number of years.
Right.
And we are still counting. But the back and forth that has come and the blame game, I believe, will see an end this year, because previously we have always allowed politicians or government to say things and not fulfill it.
Right.
And that is why this time we are making sure that the promise that the president made on a very important platform as the independence platform is not taken for granted. The reason being that when you look at Ghana's independence, that is a day that Ghanaians, we all commemorate as a day that marks a significant to every Ghanaian.
Right.
So if the president chose that platform, I don't see why there should be even back and forth about it. And we believe that the president may have had some plans put in place for passing the bill. And today is the last day, as you rightly pointed out, but we are still hopeful that the president's promise, at least of getting the bill to moving from cabinet to parliament, will be fulfilled. Because the president has made some promises, we have seen him fulfill some of them, and we think that this is also a promise that he's likely to fulfill. So we expect that the bill will move to Parliament today, regardless of the fact that today is the last day. Right. We are still hopeful. Today is long enough, and today the bill can be passed. Laid in Parliament.
Gideon, yesterday the Majority Leader, Honorable Saichi Mesamoso, gave us a hint that, well, today it may be laid if Cabinet approves of it as of yesterday. Does that inspire any sense of hope, given the fact that since 1999 we've been on this road? It's taken to Parliament, it's taken back to Cabinet, taken to Parliament, and the back and forth. Does that give you any hope, words from the Majority Leader?
It does give us some sense of hope. But at the same time also, we've heard promises over promises from previous governments, from even members of Parliament, current and past.
Right.
But the Vice President, earlier on in the week, assured us that Cabinet had approved it.
Right.
And then it will be laid today, or before Parliament rises today.
Right.
And the Majority Leader has also gone ahead to say, last week, earlier this week on Tuesday, the committee chair also made mention that the bill will be late. So based on that, we have some sense of hope. But based on previous experiences, we are also a bit cautious.
Do we know what's in the bill? Because that's the key question that a lot of people have been asking. That look, we're calling for it. We're mounting pressure on government to pass it. Do we know what's in there?
Well, a year ago, as soon as the Attorney General came into office, she brought the bill for us to make inputs, and if what we made input to is what is taken to Parliament, then it's good enough to be passed. But since we don't know what the cabinet has worked on, it will also be good to see what has been done. But I believe even before the last Parliament went to recess, the bill was good enough to be passed. We have made a lot of input. This is a bill that has received a lot of input, and we are talking about 17 years.
Right.
Meaning that a lot of time and energy and resources has gone into that bill. So it is good enough to be passed as we left it. And just wanted to add that when you...
There were questions then about some of the clauses that exposed information in terms of national security, in terms of international relations, and they were talking about the fact that, well, we can't just put out any information just now. Like
you see, maybe I should explain. When you talk about the right to information, this is how it works. One, the agency or the ministry responsible will generate the information that is essential to that ministry, or that they perceive that this is what information that citizens will need. They index those information. And then when it is indexed, they now disseminate, manage the information and then disseminate it to the citizens when they request for it. Some ministries can even be proactive in terms of putting the information out there, even before it is requested. I'd like to use this example. Some couple of years back, we wanted to know the petroleum contracts that were signed. We didn't get it in this country, unfortunately. We got it from the US, because in the US, it is mandatory for the information to be made public.
Right.
So we
but yet our people were concealing it.
Yes. And you know, interestingly, this is public. If you are in public office, it means you are serving the citizens.
Do our people understand it like that?
That is why we are doing this advocacy, so that public office holders should understand that they are in public office for us, and they serve us. So when we need information, it is their duty to provide the information. And we are not even asking for something that is unusual. It is already in the Constitution. It is a constitutional mandate that every citizen is guaranteed access to information. That is one. But what we are asking for is a guideline in terms of a law that guides how that information is accessed.
So tell me, the indexing of the information coupled with the red flags that those in public offices and politicians have raised, that look, we can't put out just any information. How do we marry the two? Because that was a concern that they held, and I'm sure they do hold that concern.
You see, it is not even about that. I think that is just a smart way of talking about it, because one, when I request for when the act is passed, or the bill is passed and it becomes an act, when I request for an information from you as a government agency, there are timelines within which you have to give me the information.
Absolutely.
And that information, you are supposed to get somebody we call information officer. At for instance, at the ministry or whichever agency, and then that information officer is supposed to give me the information. But if I don't get that information, I go to the next level. And you go until you can even go to court to demand that the information is given. But you and I know that the information we have in the public office are not secret information. You know, the unfortunate part is that people who are not Ghanaians come here and get information, and we as citizens do not get that information. Why should the media even have to be intercepting information, put it out there, and then government comes to say, no, it is not the right information. This is the right information. So the moment they're able to index it, the moment you're able to request for it, and it also doesn't really prevent you in terms of the usage.
Okay.
So every citizen can go and access that information within those guidelines. That's why the Act is supposed to provide a guide in terms of how the information is stored, how the information. And I would also like to add that when politicians, you see, it is even in their own interest to pass this act. Why am I saying that? We always have this debate when there's a change of government about what I left behind and what this one inherited. Exactly. So if all these ministries, agencies are able to properly document the information, store it properly, it means that we will not have any of those debates where Party A says that I left Ghana in good hands and the economy is good. This one says, no, we came and we inherited debts and all that. Citizens can see it for themselves. Go to the Ministry of Finance website. We have a lot of information there. Has that brought any chaos to Ghana? No. So what is so secret about the information they are saying is secret? There's nothing secret about it.
Gideon, so I saw that the Action Campaign tried to engage the public. How much public engagement do you think is enough for the citizenry to come along with you on this campaign? Are they really coming along with you?
Yes, citizens are now coming along. We launched a couple of social media campaigns, and then the comments that are coming in shows that citizens now understand, because now we are relating it to people's livelihoods. Because if you don't have information on how much government have paid into the National Health Insurance Scheme, and you go to access the scheme, and they tell you, no, you can't have this medicine, you can't have that. But when you have the right information on what government is spending on it, you can actually demand that government has actually paid this, so I have the right to enjoy this benefit. The same with free education. If government, we have information, enough information of how much government is investing in the free education, everybody knows that, then I don't have to pay more. So no headmaster can demand for extra fees for me. And it cuts across our daily lives. As students, we need to make research. So if you go and you need to do a paper, and then the information you need is not available, how will you be able to pass your exams? So information is important for everybody. It cuts across from people in the youth, people in society, all forms of life. So everybody, information is life. Without information, as we sit here now, if there is no information, let's say there is gold underneath this table, and we all don't have the information, will we be able to benefit from it?
I doubt we do.
Yes. But if we have the right information, we'll all benefit from it.
I agree. Now, in light of that, there were, in the past, the conversations around the bill were that, well, some of the information must be paid for. Some people were pushing for that angle. Are you in support of that? Where do you stand? Where does the coalition stand?
Well, we are not actually, we don't want information, access to information to be hindered. So we had pushed that in terms of, even if there should be a payment, it should be, you are paying for how that information will be provided to you. For instance, you are paying for photocopying. And I don't think photocopy should cost 1,000 Ghana cedis. If you remember or recollect, when what's the name? Occupy Ghana went to court. The judge instructed that they requested that they paid 100 cedis, 1,000 cedis for the information. That is too much. So with access to information, anybody anywhere, the poor, and the poor is more disadvantaged. So if you put a price tag that the poor cannot be able to pay to access that information, then we have actually not made information accessible.
Let's look at an angle like the assets declaration angle, where in our laws as it is, I can declare my assets as a public officer, put in an envelope, and even the receiving officer doesn't know what is in my asset declaration. Will the Right to Information Bill cure that?
Not necessarily. In fact, with the asset to assets declaration.
Right.
What we have done is another bill, which is called the Conduct of Public Officers Bill.
Right.
And that bill, we have also made a lot of input in. That also expired with the last Parliament, and it's something that we have worked on now.
Okay.
When the Attorney General took office, we made input into the bill again, and it's going to be relayed. So that bill, when that bill is also passed, we have what we call the asset verification.
Right.
It's because at the moment, it's sealed in an envelope. So when it's sealed in an envelope, how do you determine?
Somebody said there could just be newspapers
it
in an envelope.
One day, somebody could even put a bomb in that, because now nuclear weapons are becoming very sophisticated.
Exactly.
So if somebody even puts something that can, an explosive device in that envelope, and the Auditor General receives it, stores it, just for the whole place to explode, what happens to that? But there again, we still, once there is the right to information, it means that citizens can also go and request for the declared asset to see what exactly have you declared, and then based on that, they can also verify. Because when you look at asset declaration, citizens have more role to play in terms of supporting, in terms of verification of the assets, because most people have knowledge of what people possess before they even come to government. Yes.
So then the question is that if it is laid in Parliament, the conversation starts. 1, 2 readings, and then Parliament, for example, is dissolved. We come back to square one. Is it? How much time are we expecting that we're able to deal with this completely? A majority leader says all things being equal by July, if it's late today, all things being equal by July, we should get it done. Are you with him on that timeline?
Yes.
Gideon?
Yes, we are with him on that timeline, because the same speed that was used in passing the OSP bill into law can be used. And the president mentioned also that another leg of the corruption fight, which is the RTI. So it means that the president is also in favor of getting the RTI bill passed. They have the majority in Parliament. And even those on the minority side have also expressed their desire to get the bill passed. So they were pushing for the bill to be passed in the last Parliament. So if they are committed, or they were committed, then this shouldn't be an issue. Because if the minority then was willing to get a bill passed, and now majority is also willing, then it means that then it should be.
Somebody said that, well, usually when these things happen, they lay the bill, and they invite memorandum from people like you, and then you make your inputs, and then they tell you, oh, we have to flesh it up. They take it back to cabinet, and that's about it. Are you prepared for that trap?
When the OSB bill, even before it was drafted, we made inputs, and then throughout the process, up till when it got to Parliament. When it got to Parliament, we even engaged an expert to do a clause-by-clause review with Parliament, knowing that they may lack that capacity. So for me, it is not even about what the timeline, but the moment it gets to Parliament, it gives us the opportunity to work with Parliament in passing.
To pass it. Exactly. Let's look at the Nigerian example. President or General Buhari said it was going to help us to fight corruption. The insults were flying left, right, center. But then they have been able to pass the RTI.
Long ago. We even started the discussion before them. Interestingly, we started the conversation of RTI.
And Nigeria has an RTI.
Yes, and Nigeria has not gone into flames. So Nigeria has an RTI, and it is it's working. The civil society partners that we have in Nigeria, we attest that getting information, one of our partners, even at a point went to court to request for information, and the information was given using the act. And information is given, and we know what happens in Nigeria. And people were, criticizing the president of Nigeria. But they have been able to pass the RTI bill long ago, and they are implementing it and even thinking about amendment. 20 years when we started this discussion, do we still want to keep counting the days and adding up the days? So we believe that is why it is important for us to pass. If Nigeria, as we all know it, can pass the RTI bill and nothing happens, secret information has not been compromised or affected in any way, then I think that it is time for us to pass the right to information.
Gideon, why is it difficult? We'll go to Amma shortly for messages, but why is it difficult for parliamentarians, for example, politicians, to just say, yeah, no, like they do in other cases? I'm sure you've done some background work. What is it that you found to be their difficulty in just saying, yeah, no?
What is it that we found? We don't really know what, because we hear MPs when they are in opposition saying, yes, we want the bill passed.
Right.
And then they come into government and they say, no, we don't want it.
Let's slow down.
Yes. So, and we've also heard ministers, MPs come out to say, we have nothing in our cupboards. So if you have nothing in your cupboards, then why don't you want to open it up?
Justice Emil Shaw dared them and says, because they know how effective this can be in scrutinizing them, they don't want to pass it.
Let me give you an example. We did train some people on how to request for information. And because we don't have the law, a gentleman went to request for information at the district assembly.
Okay.
And then when he went there, he was detained. He was accused of being a spy.
Okay.
This is somebody who wants to request and know the true state of the district assembly. His own money, which is taxes, which is being used to run the district assembly, and he wanted to find out. But because there's no law, that person was detained and was accused as a spy. So that person was accused as a spy.
Okay.
But if we have the law, that information, that person wouldn't have even had to go there to request for it, because the law requires that the district assemblies or all public institutions proactively disclose that information.
Okay.
And you talked about the issue of maybe they being afraid in terms of some exempt information or security information.
Absolutely.
In the law, it states there is something known as the harm test.
Okay.
So if the information that will be released, let's say we'll get a minister fired, and then that's the harm, which is less than getting maybe the public being disadvantaged. It means that while losing a minister is not greater than the public losing a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So when we subject it to the harm test, those information we can tell that, okay, indeed, this is actually an exempt information or not.
Let's go now to Amma, Dr. Amma Jiman. She's ready with some messages for us. Amma, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you too.
Here we go.
So we'll start off with Emilia and Asawasi, who says, when you vote for people who think about themselves first, not the country, this is the response you get from an ambassador, shithole ambassador, sorry. On a more serious note, I think this ambassador should be investigated because I smell some chop because of his comments. Then greetings to various people. But also it says, yes, we won't allow MPP government to destabilize this country for a paltry $20 million. Ekufuado's government kumi preko from Ablade in Efia Kuma Zongo Takrade. Let's not be happy because President announced one village, one dam will start soon. Unless we see it happen before we can believe this government. Mr. President, please, we need action, not promises. The promises are too much. We are tired of them. That's coming from Osman in Tamale. Also, let's not be happy. Well, that's a repeated message. He says, from Sir Kabis New Edubiase in Zongo, I'm wondering why the United States will not bring MIT, Silicon Valley, and Qualcomm to Ghana, bad military. We need more research and manufacturing institutions and companies respectively in Ghana, not arms. Also from Mystic Inside in Sawam, he says, greetings to you and your panel. This Bank of Ghana takeover Unibank issue is not clear. I think Bank of Ghana is weak and also sleeping on its job. Their monitoring system is weak because they always sit for DKM and other microfinance services they sit for them to run away with people's money before they react. They should be up and doing. I saw this takeover of the Unibank as politically motivated. God save us from this hardship. And then the final one says, good morning, TV3. Pastors are the main causes of armed robbery in this country. They keep on deceiving people with prophecies which will never come to pass until Jesus Christ comes. Everyone wants to own a church all because of their stomach and wealth. The government should do something about this because I can remember, and I've never read in the Bible, Jesus Christ taking money from anyone before praying for them. These pastors are totally wicked and heartless. That's coming from David Ransford in Kaswa. Well, we'll take more of your messages
Absolutely.
later on.
I'm grateful. I thank you very much. And let me say thank you also to Gideon Kote Nikwe. He's a project officer, Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, and Beauty Nate. She's the executive secretary of the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. Thank you very much. We're with you in this campaign together, and we will keep mounting the pressure, see it late, see it pass, and then effectively push for it. Usually when the acts are passed, they don't pass the airlines to make us activate our rights, but we will open our eyes and see that. I thank you very much for the fight. And also, just to remind you that the Ghana Journalists Association in the Eastern region, in collaboration with the Peace and Love Hospital, Breast Care International, they're putting together a very special free health screening and breast cancer screening at the Ifiduasi Community Center, 8 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday. Dr. Beatrice Uyafi will be there. She will be there with the team to make sure that everybody gets free health care. And to Maxwell Kudeko, thank you for this initiative. We'll be back after this break with some more here on NewDay.
Still here on NewDay, and we'll be having an exclusive interview with Sharifa right about soon when I'm done with this interview, where we're talking about Manside going solar, because just about a few months down the line, their school plunged into darkness and old girls rose up to the occasion to do something about it. So I'll be speaking to Mrs. Nana Difie Bedu. She's here with me as an old girl and to tell me a bit more about their project. Good morning.
Good morning,
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Great. So you were in Accra and you were enjoying the light that illuminates your house, but you heard that your school was plunged into darkness and old girls did rise up to the occasion to do something about it. Tell me a little about how that project started.
Okay, I think in Ghana, we all aware of the problems we've had with electricity and power supply throughout the country. So when we heard that our school was plunged into darkness, we decided to veer off the traditional way of providing other projects for the school. Right. So the old girls actually thought that embarking on a solar project would be beneficial to the school. And so we have a plan where by 2020, when the school is 60 years old, we would see the school off the national grid and fully supported with solar energy. Nice. So that's something that the Fancyman Old Girls Association have started. And my year group being 85, 87 year group together with a 93, 95 year group took two sides, two aspects or portions of the project. Okay. Now the 85, 87 year group decided to provide solar energy for the new school block. Okay. And the 93, 95 year group decided to provide street lights for the school. So currently we have 40 street lights for the school, and the new school block is actually powered by solar energy.
But this must have been a capital-intensive project, and you do say by 2020 you plan to enroll the whole school technically off the grid and onto the solar project. How much have you invested into this, project?
Okay, I can give you the details for this year, what we have spent so far. The 85, 87 year group have been able to raise over 48,000 Ghana cedis to provide the school block, the new school block, with solar energy. And this also goes with some funds as well for ventilation purposes in the classrooms. Okay. And the 93, 95 year group we're able to raise 82,000 Ghana cedis for the street lights. And this, like I said earlier on, is 40 street lights for the schools. Now, the main objectives or benefits for for us this year is that we are able to provide the school with an environmentally friendly and sustainable form of energy. We are able to curtail the perennial challenges we face as a country with regards to solar energy. We're also looking at reducing cost of energy supply and eventually taking the whole school off the national grid. In addition, I'd like to say that it provides us with the opportunity to provide an environment where our female students are able to learn and develop their potential.
Right. But looking back, I mean, you were in school 85, 87 year group, so that was some time back. What would you say the challenges then concerning lighting? Is that the same as you feel is happening in the school now?
Well, I think then we didn't face these challenges with lightning and power. I remember that there were 1 or 2 times when we were in school where we had some power outage, and of course it would disrupt our learning processes, especially going for prep at night and all that. But regarding these current perennial power challenges that we face, this really has an impact on schools. Now students are forced to take lanterns, rechargeable lights and all that to school. So to make sure that there is sustainable power throughout, that's why we embarked on this project.
Well, you sound like very rich old girls, and so we'll be coming to visit you when TV3 needs some money. But then again, let's touch on the fact that has government been supportive or helped in any way as you embarked on this project? Because obviously it helps take you off the grid, and so helps take, you know, government, the amount of power government will have to even generate as a whole off them. So,
well, it's interesting that you are saying that, because the role of this year's 58th year Speech and Prize Giving Day is free SHS education, the role of parents and other stakeholders, and government is really an important stakeholder. So I think that with government's aim or objective of making sure that people are migrating towards more sustainable and environmentally friendly forms of energy, government really has been supportive towards us in this area.
But touch also on going back to the school. What are some of the things you remember being an infancy-man, and when you went back, what nostalgia do you have?
A lot of memories. I remember dormitories, Cotton, Butler, Chinnery, and Cotton, Butler House, Chinnery, and then the other houses. We used to have lots of singing from the infancy-man, from the Methodist hymn book. And we have a school ode where we sing, we have this great fancy hymn that ends with Obranya Warabo. Life is how you build it and how you live it. Yeah.
Okay, so finally, I mean, what excitement has this brought to the girls in the school, having seen that they're going to, you know, their challenges are going to be curtailed as you people embark on this project for them?
A lot. For one, I'd say for the parents, they would not have to provide alternative forms of energy. For the students, because they would have the opportunity to learn anytime they want to. And we're also providing counseling services from them starting this weekend throughout, from today to Sunday, when we are celebrating the 58th year Speech and Prize Giving Day. So there's been a lot of excitement that's been generated. Tomorrow we're going to see our Minister of Communications, Honorable Esla Usu-Akufo. She is an old girl of Infantsman. And we will see Ms. Josephine Nkrumah. She is with the National Commission for Civic Education. She is, would I say, the top gun there. And so these are people who have left Infantsman and have really done pretty well for themselves and for the country.
Nice. So this weekend, you are all heading towards
We're all heading to Salt Pond.
Nice. And we wish you all the best as you embark on your project. But ladies and gentlemen out there, I have been speaking to Mrs. Nana Defie Bedu. She's an old girl of Infantsman, and they are going solar, certainly to help government take the students off the grid and eventually give the students also lightning and an environmentally friendly learning environment so that they can go out there and be the best they plan to be. But as I promised you, we have an exclusive with Sharifa, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is New Day.
And love one another. Africa is only one home that we have. There's no place for us. We have to love one another. In unity we stand, divided we fall. Niger.
right, welcome back to New Day here on TV3, and happy birthday to Mr. George Iyao, a doctor, father, proud father of Hanela, doctor who works with here at TV3. It's your birthday, sir. Happy birthday to you. And also to the beautiful, loquacious, fantastic Catherine Frimpoma of the TV3 newsroom. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, a lady of many talents and many parts. Very strong woman indeed. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. And if it's your birthday as well today, we want to say a big happy birthday to you as well. But I'm sure you saw the sterling performance earlier put up by Africa's finest, the pride of the North, Sherifa Gonu. Sherifa Gonu is here with us in studio. Sherifa, welcome. It's been a long time.
Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. Where did you go?
Last 2 years.
And also
I walked back early in the year. You know?
So we're back. There's a Canada festival happening, and gentlemen, welcome Mo and Ernest. Peter. Peter. Thank you very much. Welcome. So there's a Canada Fest that's happening. Tell us about it briefly. What is it?
The festival is called Afrofest. First of all, thank you very much for having me. Yes, the festival is called Afrofest. It has been going on now for 30 years. It is the largest free African festival in North America. It brings together about 130,000 people. It is an African festival, so it's aimed at showcasing the beauty of the African culture in North America.
Okay. I see, and you're the executive director. Grateful. Let me come to you, Mo, before I come to Sherifa. You are the international ambassador. What do you do?
As a matter of fact, I just had this position in November.
Okay.
And I flew down and were contacted by our team leaders, Afrofest. So they were interested in Sherifa. So what can we do? So I flew down to come and sort it out so it could be possible to also raise the Ghana flag higher in a different level.
Peter, why did you pick Sherifa? There's so many talents here. What went into picking Sherifa?
Yes, interesting question. Now, you see, Sherifa is a unique kind of artist. First of all, when we decided to say, okay, we're going to get somebody from Ghana,
right, the
first thought was it has to be traditional.
Okay.
Now, also being a woman, a strong woman who has got a solid message, not only in music, but also in life, and also creating art that is crossing over. So she does the traditional, she does contemporary, and her personality keeps her above many other artists, and that's why we decided to go with her.
Sherifa, how do you feel about this new thing and the fact that you're crossing over to go and perform out there somewhere in Canada? Tell me about it.
I feel so honored, and I feel grateful to Almighty for giving me this great talent. You know, it's a good direction God has given me to choose how to choose a way into music and to choose to be who I am today. It's a great honor from me to God Almighty and to the people that always select me. This not once, this not two, but this one is really heavy because the crowd I'm going to face is going to be a first time ever in my life.
Are you prepared for the crowd?
We are.
You are prepared?
We are.
Are you going to give them the same ecstatic performances you give us here? Or you're going to add on to it? Because I'm beginning to get jealous.
Yeah, you know, here we just, you know, the stage is very small.
No, I'm not talking about this stage. I'm talking about
what
Ghana.
I've been doing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you will be jealous because there is going to be something huge there. Powerful performances by me and my, you know, my crazy dancers.
Exactly.
The crazy performances and attached with the cultural troupe I used to use for all these years. It's going to be massive because it will be crazy.
When is it coming off, Mo? Or rather, Peter, let me toss it to you.
Yes, this year is going to be between June 30th and July 8th.
Okay.
And so what we're trying to do, normally in the previous years we've had it between July 7th and 8th. But the difference we're having this year is we know that there are various African communities in Ontario. So we're saying, okay, instead of bringing an artist just to do Toronto, why not do Ottawa, City of London?
Okay.
Or to expose the culture more than we have been doing.
So you're taking Ghana into Canada and you're spreading it all around.
Yes, that's
beautiful. And Sherifa is the ambassador.
Yeah, Sherifa is the ambassador.
I see. As we wrap up the conversation, I should like to pick your thoughts one after the other. Okay. We've always been talking about taking our music into the other side, crossing the borders. How does this feed into it, and what percentage is this going to help in raising that flag high?
First of all, we have to give credit to Peter Tor for, raising Ghana in a different style, because it's a huge platform.
Right.
For us having an artist on AfroFest, it's an honor to Ghanaians. So going forward, I think the companies and other big bodies need to help, because with any organization, we need some sponsorship to make it move forward in the right direction.
Grateful. Sharifa, this is what perhaps you've been waiting for a long time. It is finally here.
Yes.
To the others who are looking up to you and all of that, what should this mean to all of us?
Yeah, it means that we should do well to portray what we are, the great things of Africa, the value of Africa, because I promote tourism in Africa, and sometimes they ask me, why you really do not even look like Ghanaian or something. No, I am promoting Africa.
Right.
The uniqueness of what I'm doing is, you know, if you remember, I say, Yumia Taba, song me Taba all the time. We should love one another and support each other. And if you see the song that I just sang, it's all about African countries. I'm promoting Africa. I want peace. I want us to be who we are. We are powerful. We are strong. We are great. There are so many things in us that we can show it to the world that we are great, we are powerful. And that's what I'm portraying. That's what I'm promoting.
I'm proud of you. Thank you very much. Feature,
you.
you have the final thought. So it's happening in July.
Yes.
What time? What date? Of course, those who of us here, we can be there, but those Ghanaians out there and Africans out there in Canada can be there.
Yes, it's July 30, June 30th to July 8th. And I know a lot of Ghanaian artists, a lot of people have contacted me saying they would like to participate. Even though yes, we've got limited opportunities, but with the reception that we've received here, I think there is a lot of work that we can do to expand and do more within the Ghanaian community.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much for your time. Peter Tor, he's Executive Director of Music and all of that at the Afro Fest. And Sharifa Gono, our own pride of the North, representing Africa strongly. And also to you, Mohammed Ainin, International Ambassador. Grateful for your time and wish you all the best. And also to our friends in the Eastern region. And if you happen to be in the Eastern region tomorrow, the Ghana Journalists Association Eastern Regional Chapter is putting together a very special free health screening and breast cancer screening is at the Ifidiasi Community Center. Maxwell Kudeko and his team will be there with the Breast Care International and Peace and Love Clinic, and they're putting that together. I'll be there as well. I don't have breast to check, but I'm sure we'll be checking some other things. We'll be back after the break here on NewDay.
Well, welcome back. We're still here on NewDay, and of course I'm going to be talking about the 3 music awards, and I'm here with Ken Addo. He's the group head for lifestyle, entertainment and event here at MG. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Nama.
Same old. But let's talk about the 3 music awards. You've come this far. Tell us the journey and where we've reached now.
Wow, it's been an exciting journey. I mean, being a maiden event that is coming out for the very first time. Obviously, we have gone through a lot of processes. We've gone through a lot of challenges here and there, but obviously tomorrow is the day, and so that is what we are looking forward to. Anticipating a great night of music, performances, and all of the fun that comes with it. Yeah.
But who are some of the people slated for the specific awards and the categories? Share with us.
Wow, you're going to throw my mind into a library of names, but let's see. We have Shatawale in there. We have Ebony in there. We have Stoneboy in there. King Promise. Kelsong Sarkodia is in there. Joe Metal is in there. Cuts Across. I mean, the new acts coming up. Kwesi Arthur. And all of them. I mean, quite a number. I mean, over 20 categories that we're dealing with tomorrow night.
Okay, so tomorrow when all these big names get together,
what
are we supposed to expect as those who want to come and participate?
Wow, it's an experience that setup has been ongoing for the past 2 days. And so for a venue which is new, you're looking at the space that you have to move around. You're looking at the musical performances. I mean, over 15 artists slated to perform, back-to-back performances, collective performances, the food and the drinks that come with the VIP experience, and all of it. I mean, that is what you're expecting tonight. So I use one word to explain that is an experience.
Right, it is an experience. So where is it happening? What time? How much are we paying?
Right, so Free Music Awards comes off tomorrow, 24th March, Saturday, 24th March, right from 7 p.m. At the all-new Fantasy Dome. The Fantasy Dome is over 15,000-seater auditorium, you know, at the Trade Fair Center, just by the Round Pavilion. So for those of us who have been visiting the Trade Fair, we know the Round Pavilion. And the Round Pavilion is a very popular place, if you know Trade Fair. So when you get there, you ask for the Fantasy Dome, and everybody will direct you there. Now, talk about tickets. We are looking at regular 400 cedis and VIP for 180 cedis, and that is where the experience I talk with. So when you buy a VIP ticket, you are going to have that experience that you're looking at. And talk about artists performing on the night. We have Shatawale, Joe Metal, Kwesi Arthur, Edem EL. What do you call them?
All the big names.
I mean, just list the names: Kel Songs, King Promise, Kwesi Arthur, Joyce Blessing, Kumi Guitar, Bibini, T Flow. I mean, all your favorite artists are lined up to be on the show tomorrow night.
Okay, but of course we've talked about security when these people gather. What is the security detail going to be like at this event?
Right, so as of yesterday evening, the security guys had a meeting to look at all the possible measures that they are going to, you know, take to make sure that anybody or any patron who comes to the event is secured. I mean, the trade fair is a big place, and so we are making sure that places are barricaded enough to secure, you know, what you call the tickets. You're coming in where you're going to park, and everything is being secured. So we are looking at safety as well, because the patron or the audience are also a very important part, because we are doing it for them. So it's a very important part of the whole event. So we cannot leave them out. So security and safety is assured.
Okay, so finally, for those who'd be coming tomorrow, as we make our way towards, you know, there, of course there'll be Ebony's funeral tomorrow. The seemingly will be other, you know, programs going on. But what will be that one thing when they know they have arrived at the three music awards?
3 music awards. So I mean, the name itself gives it out. We're looking at, you know, the branding, that, you know, flagging the trade fair area, and of course the logo of 3 Music and the branding of TV3 and other brands like 3FM and Onya FM also there. So when you step at the trade fair center, you know the direction is just there. It's just clear. That's the only thing happening tomorrow night. And so
finally, who are the patrons or the other people coming on board with MG to make this thing happen? All
right, so it's a 3 Music Awards. It's a 3 Music Network production, and it's collaborating with Media General as the exclusive media partner. And so TV3, 3FM, Onya FM, and Connect FM, and 3news.com have been pushing this agenda of 3 Music Awards for the past 2 months or so. And so there's also ARC Events that's also supporting with the logistics and all that. So 3 Music Network, TV3, Media General, and ARC Events.
Nice. So guys, tomorrow we're all heading towards the Accra Trade Fair Center, because 3FM is hosting us for the 3 Music Awards. Everything is 333. Just remember that. Make your way there, 7 p.m. It will be a great night of music and seeing all your celebrities out there. So join us. Make a time with us tomorrow evening. And we still have more here on New Day for you, so stay with us.
Very light Friday here on TV3 New Day. Trust you're enjoying all of it wearing Ghana as well. Now, let's take a look at some of Tilapia's cartoons. So this is about the U.S. military base, you know, supposed to be set up here in Ghana. And Tilapia says, well, soldier base biara no day inside. That's somebody who's like the defense minister, Dominic was speaking. Then a man says, you sure? And then the other one says, Nitiewu. Okay, yeah, it rhymes with, anyway. So House of Collapsed Banks, and there's Capital Bank, and I think there's UT Bank in there. And then they are welcoming the U Bank. There's a blue, it says Akwaba, you come for visit. They want to be sure. And what does he want in a shithole? That's some Ghanaians are asking Donald Trump, somebody who looks like Donald Trump. And maybe finally, you only get the license to destroy. And that's somebody that's like digging under the shelter, a Tiwa forest in the mix there, while we're doing the Tiwa forest. And government officials, so there's a very interesting artwork that I want to show you. And for those of you who sketch or who draw, you know that, and it says this one is what? When you have just 5 minutes left on the test. So you have a test to draw a horse or a donkey, whichever it is, and then you're beaten by time. You have just 5 minutes left. You just have to put it there like that. And speaking of which, I've been joined by a young artist himself, Kwesi Haywood. Kwesi, welcome. Thank you. Good to have you here. Great, man. I saw some of your works and I was amazed. Do you go through some of this? Have you ever been through it before?
That is due to pressure.
Pressure?
Yeah. If you are being given the artwork, someone needs, let's say, giving you time to finish and you couldn't meet. Due to the pressure, you have to just do something to present it. But this, I'm not going to do this.
How long have you been sketching?
Well, early last year, so that means almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. How's it been for you?
The road isn't that easy.
Okay.
I started very poor.
Okay.
But I didn't know I would get this far.
Okay.
So to this level, I think it's a bit okay.
How do you pick up the things that you draw?
Well,
it comes to you.
I merely draw. My drawings are based on celebrating people.
Right.
Yeah. I choose not to celebrate someone after life. No.
Okay.
Since they are living, you have to celebrate them.
Right.
So I choose my way of celebrating my people with the artwork I'm having now.
I see.
So yeah.
I see. And someone told me that you had drawn something nice. So picked a photo of me on Instagram and put it together, and which is why you're here. So let's see the artwork and let's viewers see whether it looks like me or not. Sometimes when you draw people, you disfigure their noses and okay.
Okay.
So this is your camera.
All right.
Show it to it. Let's see if it looks like me, and the viewers will have to judge. Does it look like me, viewers? Does it look like me? It does look like me. Okay, they said my head is too round. You know.
It might be the picture I took from.
The picture that you took from. Okay. All right. So that's a real artwork. How long did it take you to draw this?
Well, it took almost a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Wow. And so
if I'm to work on time,
okay,
it can take, let's say, 3 days or
3 days.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, for example?
Well, I'm located in Kasua, but right at the moment.
Give me my painting.
At the moment, I think we should.
But this is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so you're in Kasua?
Yes, please. At the moment, you can reach me through my social media handles.
Okay.
At Kwesi Haywood on any.
How do you spell the Haywood?
Haywood.
Okay, so Kwesi with an A or E?
E.
E.
That's KWESI.
Okay.
And Haywood.
At Kwesi Haywood on Instagram, on Facebook,
on
Twitter.
Yes, please.
Kwesi, I thank you very much, and I wish you well. I'm grateful. We'll be back after the break, but this is my Easter gift. It came really early. I'm grateful for it. We'll be back after the break with some more.
Becca, and those graduation clothes just reminded me of my own graduation. And those of you out there still fighting to get a degree down, just keep pressing on, you will get it. And happy birthday to Catherine Frimpoma, our very own. Of course, March Bonds rock. Catherine, happy birthday. May God bless you. May God grant you all your heart's desires. And we love you here at Media General.
At the TV3 newsroom, Catherine is known as Nana Hima. Yeah, Nana Hima. So I'm not sure if it's in Pabwa Hima or I don't know, but she's Nana Hima anyway. So happy birthday to you, Catherine. And also to you, Mr. George Yao, a doctor, father of Hanela, doctor. But last year, around the Gariba Lodge in the northern region, you remember that unfortunate incident where the woman in a four-wheeler was carried away. She died. Yes. Right. And the year before, at that same location, you found that there was a motorbiker with 2 children who lost their lives there. Politicians made a lot of promises that, we'll construct the road, we will fix it. as we speak, and this is something I picked from Facebook, as we speak, this is how it looks like. And the checks by the poster of this one on Facebook says it doesn't look like there's going to be any improvement. The rains are just what, a month away, and this is how it looks like. So we lost life there. We had all the politicians, then in government NDC, now in government MPP. They all went there, they made speeches and all of that. Never again, never again. Nothing has happened. And guess what? It's the same attitude that we have for the, and thank you to Momoni Yerefa Yunus for putting that up. But it's the same attitude we had, the Circle disaster.
Exactly.
So many years
and
now.
The same we had at the Madina, the Legon area.
Yeah, the explosion, the atomic junction explosion, the Malcolm disaster. No single person is been held accountable. And sometimes you wonder what exactly is happening. Anyway, but that's Catherine Frimpoma. It's her birthday today. And Anahima, is she single?
She's Bride's best friend.
Ah, okay.
Yes, when I'm not there.
She's a witch catcher too. Is she single? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
So if you don't know, then don't say anything. Maybe if you don't know, then don't say anything. But we're still in our Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana month, and be good. Today I'm choosing this. This is what I want to have today.
Is that Wache coming up?
Yes. But you're a good student, though.
I know.
I
can see it even when it's miraged.
Anyway, I thank you all very much for your time, and we're grateful. We'll see you next week. Next week, a Community Connect.
It's nice to say it next week. So it means we have a break. Yeah.
It's just 2 days away. It will come. But we'll see you.
Yeah,
Friday, make Friday fun and make sure that you're living right and doing what is right. Have a great one. Community Connect is up on your radio at 3 p.m. at 3FM 92.7.
And of course, Free Music Awards is happening on Saturday, 7 p.m. at Trade Fair. Make sure you are there to enjoy the experience.
You go dance.
Yes, we'll dance. Certainly we'll dance. But have a good weekend. See you same time next week.